The theme that we saw in the Crucible was injustice. The essential question that we took from the play was, how do stereotypes affect an accurate outcome of justice in the Crucible? We related the theme of injustice to the modern world to come up with the essential question of, how do racism and gender stereotypes in our society today make the workplace unjust? How can we improve it? In the Crucible, the theme of injustice was evident when the legitimacy of the trial was altered because of stereotypes that were placed on certain people that made the trial unfair. In the Crucible, Abby and the other girls were trusted and listened to by the people of the court in Salem because they were viewed to be just innocent girls. You see this in pages 102 to 105 of the Crucible, which show Abigail denying accusations against her and Danforth going along with it and not questioning her any further. Because of the stereotype put on girls by the court, they became ignorant to the girls, undermining everyone accused, and wouldn't listen to the townspeople's suggestions that the girls were lying because of the court's preconceived idea that the girls would only tell the truth. Another example of stereotyping in the book was John Proctor committing adultery and being judged by the court for it. Although John was a sincerely honest and good man, his good word was no longer credited in court when it was revealed that he was an adulterer, because in Puritan society, adultery is supposed to show extremely bad character, and John was now viewed in a different light. His word was not as valuable as it once was because the people of the court judged John and didn't find him to be such an honest person anymore. Even though he spoke nothing but the truth in the court and showed only good character, the court still refused to see this because of the stereotypes that ultimately led to his and other innocent people's deaths. In today's society, we still see stereotyping and injustice in the workplace. We see it especially in gender stereotyping and racism. Just like in the Crucible, women get special treatment in today's society. But for the women in our generation, this treatment may not be as in favor for them as it was for Abby. Women today can work just as hard as men in the workplace in the exact same jobs and earn much less than them, as you can see in this example. In 2013, men's earnings were $50,033 and women's were $39,157, a difference of $10,876. And in this example, women's earnings were 78.3% of men's in 2013. Women are thought to be not as capable as men are, even though this is just a stereotype and women can be just as capable. An example that proves that women are being held back from their full potentials says that women make up only 14% of Fortune 500 executive committees and even a smaller portion of CEOs. This statistic shows that men are dominating the top positions and are making it hard for women to reach the top as well. It has been researched and it is found that men judge themselves most superior to women in the process of problem solving. This is only hurting companies because they are losing some of the valuable talent from women that could be helping the company reach its full potential. But instead, men use these stereotypes against women that they are less capable than them. What is even worse is that only 30% of HR resource leaders have stated that their diversity programs have been well implemented. These programs help men to rethink their views on women in the workplace, and without them, men just continue to judge women based on these untrue stereotypes. It has been researched to find that if the pace of change in the annual earnings ratio continues at the same rate as it has since 1960, it will take another 45 years, until 2058, for women and men to receive equal pay. Steps need to be taken now in order to make the workplace more fair for women. Women have begun to attempt to make a stand to get paid for the discrimination that they have had to endure, as you can see in this example. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, received 99,412 private sector workplace discrimination charges during the fiscal year 2012, and there were 30,356 charges against sex discrimination, which includes allegations of sexual harassment and pregnancy. This example shows that there are a number of women that realize that they are being discriminated against and being treated unfairly and tried to stand up for themselves. And if this continues, women will be able to make an impact in the fight to erase gender stereotyping.
Problem in the workplace. A study discussing the impact of names on employment showed that people with white-sounding names had twice the chance of getting an interview as someone with an African-American name. This is especially harmful to companies because a person's name does not reflect his or her personal merit or accomplishments, and choosing an average white worker over a high-achieving African-American worker definitely limits a company from reaching their full potential. It is extremely unjust to choose one person over another solely based on skin color. Another statistic shows that 80% of Latinos find workplace racial discrimination to be a problem in California. Although this statistic does not reflect the views of Latinos in the entire country, 80% of anything is an extremely large number that needs to be paid attention to. Also, Hispanic males' earnings compared to that of white and black males have shown to be 8% less. Arbitrary qualities should not determine how much a person can and cannot make, and it is extremely unethical. You can see both race and gender playing a role in this statistic. In 2013, the earnings of an African American were $35,089, 68.1% of all men's earnings. This shows that both a woman and a race is considered to be a minority impacts your pay even more, and you are more likely to be discriminated against. You can see minorities who suffered from racial discrimination try to get recognized in this example. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission received 99,412 private sector workplace discrimination charges during the fiscal year 2012, with race being one of the most frequently filed charges. Once again, people who have been discriminated against making a stand for themselves is one of the best ways to get attention to the problem and fix it. Justice in the workplace is make people aware that discrimination is happening and try to break the stereotypes that come along with race and gender. Both the EEOC and the DFEH have both taken steps in the right direction towards workplace equality and removing stereotypes from our society. Affirmative action was the first measure brought upon giving jobs to white people over qualified minorities, making it wrong for white people to get jobs over more qualified minorities. The EEOC has made the most strides in finding justice for those discriminated against, as you can see in this example. The enforcement programs of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in both federal and private sectors have benefited over 5.4 million individuals. The changes in the practices and policies in the workplace in the U.S. have reduced the racial discrimination in this year. Also, due to a concerted effort, the EEOC reduced the pending inventory of the private sector charges by 10% from fiscal year 2012, bringing the inventory level to 70,312. In fiscal year 2012, EEOC complemented 240 systematic investigations, which in part resulted in 46 settlements. These settlements secured $36.2 million for the victims of unlawful discrimination. These examples show the great strides the EEOC has made for the people who have been victims of discrimination and stereotyping in the workplace, and it is great organizations like these companies making their workers aware of discrimination that will help find justice for all of those who have been in unjust situations. You should read The Crucible because the themes in it still apply in the world today. You see the theme of injustice throughout the book through the unfair trial based on lies that led to many innocent people's deaths, and you see injustice in modern times and minorities getting treated unfairly today in the workplace. It teaches an important lesson not to judge people based on stereotypes because the person they are on the inside does not define the type of person they are on the outside. You see the theme of injustice in both the stereotyping of people in the Crucible and how it affects the outcome of a trial, and in today's world with the stereotyping of people in the workplace.